Wow.
Good,
Nice.
good evening, everyone. We are live again today on Impact Turns 20, Building the Future Together, with an amazing guest, Nitin Bhatia. He's a sales director, CX India, Oracle. And when I met him, he was the managing director, Meltwaters. And let me tell you more about him. He's India 40 under 40 world top 100 sales expert on Twitter. He's the Mr. Bean of digital marketing, member modern sales pro. And let me tell you, this is a new word for me. He's a passionpreneur. He lives in leadership through sales. He's real high in helping businesses adopt digital transformation to solve modern day business problems. And well, his stark resemblance with Mr. Rowan Atkinson. He is fondly known as the Bean of Digital Marketing of India, and we'll ask him during our chat how he got his name. And well, when he's not at work, right now he's a doodling father. He just became a father. He has a small Mr. Bean in his house, and he's obviously been changing diapers. And apart from that, he's a sportsman. He loves racket sports, and he's also planning to prepare hard to participate in World Racquethlon Championship 2021. And well, there's another thing which I know of him, which he has not written in his profile. He is the initiator, innovator, and energizer of 6 a.m. Army, of which I am also a part of. So that is Nitin Bhatia. In just few words, I could explain. So thank you very much, Nitin, for accepting my request to join us on this chat. And it is a pleasure to host you. And I understand how busy you are, and sales guys are always in demand, and you are in super demand. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. First of all, Kulpreet, congratulations to the entire team of Impact. I've been, of course, a big fan of you guys and your team. I've been fortunate enough to meet almost most of them when I was in Delhi. So really pleased to know that you guys are 20 years young, and of course there will be more accolades and achievements which will be coming under your way and under your belt. And thank you for a very elaborate introduction. Of course, if you ask me, there is definitely a lot to achieve. These things are just good to actually put it across to people, and maybe if there is nothing else which people remember out of this conversation today, then they will definitely remember Mr. Bean. So I'm hopeful that that is what's going to stay with these guys for some time.
Well, but we are here for another reason, Mr. Bean. We want all the beans of sales.
Sure. So, shoot, I'm more than happy to take up questions and whatever you guys have. And
Yes. So let's begin with some personal talk, because right now we all were in lockdown, and you are a new father for the first time. So
yeah,
tell us how this time of being a father for the
yeah.
first time and juggling work from home, and how did all that happen, and then how did you cope up with your sales targets when people were not getting any sales? So there are a lot of questions in my question.
Being a father is a I think very humbling experience. Till the time I was one, I was used to feel. Okay, yeah, sure. Of course, I'll answer one by one. So to start with, being a father, it's been really pleasing, and I'm very fond of kids. Something which people don't know. And not only I'm very fond of kids, I'm also uh, very comfortable with them. So cleaning potties to changing diapers to feeding the baby, and maybe staying awake with that person with the baby for a long time is. So I'll tell you what, my sister, she has two kids now, and so I was very confident that I will be at least a good father for some time, till the time he starts understanding me a little bit. But from a caretaking standpoint, my sister used to come to Bangalore just for a full-fledged vacation. So her idea was that, once I go there, my brother will cook, my brother will take care of my kids, and I will not have to do anything. So I'm so very comfortable in that way. So that is happening. Uh, in the last few weeks, I've started with this. Not started. I have not started, but my wife really wanted me to cook for Ridit, and so then she only came up with this dinner with daddy or dinner by daddy hashtag. So I've been trying to make innovative food for him on a day-to-day basis, and really getting a lot of big eyebrows, and because the food I'm making is like made for people like us. So so it's been fun that way. Um, Apart from that, juggling between work, of course, COVID has been very unfortunate for everybody, and it has not really left anyone unaffected, and so was the case with us. And we did see some slump in terms of how we with our sales targets and all these things. And of course, the new year has come in, so we start in June. So we are in a new quarter right now.
Yes.
So hopefully things will be better for us, and things are popping up. I think this medium which we are doing right now. I think for me specifically, when my guys started saying that it's impossible to sell over the phone, it's impossible to sell over internet on over video calls, and I was like, are you really kidding me? Because in fact, with you also, right? When we first time spoke and when we first time decided to go ahead, I had never met you, so I only met you after that. So for me, uh, selling over the phone is not difficult, but I think there is a huge transformation which businesses are going through right now, which they were not ready digitally. So there is a huge opportunity for companies where I work for, and organizations, those who are into this kind of work. So yeah, so that's the answer to your two questions, which were there in your one question.
Yes, thanks for that. And well, today's topic is how important is communication to sales, because I
Yeah.
believe communication is key to sales. The moment I say hello, my hello should, make the other person buy. My other communication is like, okay, what do you say about that?
Well, I think it is communication is critical for any kind of work. I think it is very important to understand that your and now the communication model has also changed. I'm sure you have seen it, but I've been taking a lot of these sessions on personal branding of late, and in those sessions
That
most of the time.
the LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, and of course it's actually the byproduct of that. So a lot of people basically started with attending the session, and then later on after the session they said, sir, can you review my profile? I said, okay, why don't I view your profile, give me a shout out, and that's how this series started. But the major part which we are covering in those sessions is linked with, and since we're talking about communications, is linked with when do you create your first impression. And as you rightly mentioned, when I say hello, the people should buy. But a lot of times you don't even get a chance to say hello, because people didn't really find you very interesting when they went through your LinkedIn profile or Instagram profile or through your Facebook if it is public. So critically, what happens is this: that you planned to have a nice conversation, and you wanted to pick up the phone, say the best pitches which you've ever prepared. But the guy really thought that, hey, okay, which is this company? Went into the Google, figured out the company, and they found this one line that do not buy from this company. Now, no matter how good a salesperson you are, you will never get a chance to sell. So I think communication starts from there. So the idea is that digitally, I'll give you a PR example, because this is something which I used to do a lot during my meltwater days as well. Is a lot of people used to say that print tracking is very important. This even today you want the scanned copies and all these things, but interestingly, paper only survives. Not even a day. A flip of a page. That's it. So, but if anything goes online, it has a longer shelf life. So it has a longer chance to be viewed, and that means it has a longer chance of communication as well. So if I am talking about business, it starts from where, what does it exist in terms of collaterals, be it with your brochures, be it with your website, be it with your CEO's profile. So that is where it starts. And then, of course, effective communication goes in verbal and non-verbal communication as well, and then, of course, spoken as well as written communication as well. So we can cover it one by one as in we progress.
Yes, so there are a lot of people who are joining in. Dilip is saying hello, sir.
By the left,
Sudip is saying hello, and Vinod is saying hello. Yes, communication has a lot of role to play in sales because obviously I also do sales at my end.
yeah,
So tell us like obviously you said digital communication is one needs to look at. That definitely is there, and very valid point which you made. Before probably talking to you, I normally go and check your social status,
yeah.
right? So Aarti is asking sales communication techniques so what are the sales communication techniques in the virtual world?
In the virtual world, see, I think Ayati, let me answer this in this one line, which you should remember for a long, long time. Nobody buys from somebody who is not excited. So the first and
Then
foremost,
everybody should buy from Nitin and me.
so the most important thing is this: that before you pick up the phone, one of the things which I did for most of the important calls is I go in front of the mirror and I actually raise my arms like this in front of the mirror, and it gives you extra confidence. And you won't believe it is scientifically proven that it basically increases your chances of being a better one in literally by 40%. So I'm just giving you a simple. So first and foremost thing is that sales communication techniques. There are a lot of things which we can talk about, but to start with, nobody buys from somebody who's not excited. But one of the key techniques on communications, which basically is there, is the power of three. Um, so power of three basically is, let's say that you want to present something. There is a human tendency. If you present this in 3 bullet points, they will remember. If you present it in 4 bullet points, they will likely to remember 2 and forget 2. If you present only 2, they will possibly remember 1 and forget the other one. So some way or the other, there is this mathematics which has come across on a power of 3, which basically means that if you communicate in a fashion of putting across 3 pointers during your presentation, during your introduction, that these are the 3 things I'm good at, or these are the 3 things we will discuss today. You will remember. You will most likely, the people will have a recall of that more often than if you present 5 or 6 ideas. So that is something which is very critical. Then the other thing which I normally do a lot is my meltwater people, if they will attend and they will start laughing on this already. There is something which I call, which I used to do a lot. In simple words, they say that in virtual world right now you can see me, so you are already doing a lot of this non-verbal feedback I'm getting from you. You are constantly shaking your head, you are moving your head up and down. This is giving me a simple idea that you're receiving what I'm saying. But I'll give you one extremely powerful technique which I learned is, let's say you are talking to me and I keep my head as it is till the time you finish your conversation, and I just do this. This is much, much more powerful if you want to show authority to somebody than just by putting your head still, and then once the sentence is finished, then you just do this. This by default gives a lot more, it kinds of gives you a position of authority. That means you're not constantly nodding. So this is just a technique I'm giving you, but there is a lot more which basically comes across. And then one other thing I used to do a lot is to definitely smile while communicating. And it is extremely powerful. And a lot of times because we used to do a lot of sales on phone, but on the phone also, when you are smiling and talking, it by default conveys your message in an exciting manner. So people who are not even interested are just interested because of one single reason, that this person is really excited. Let me hear him out and not take his chance away. So these are some. Of course, there is a lot more we can discuss, but just to give you a little bit of context, to start with, power of three, nod your head, and non-verbal feedback, and of course, be excited when you're pitching.
Yes, I definitely, my takeaway is the nodding of the head, because one of my friends, he said, "यार तुम ना बहुत ऐसे ऐसे करती हो." I was like wondering, how do I control this? Earlier I used to blink a lot. I controlled my blinking. Then
Yeah,
on I'm talking about the digital platform. And
yeah,
then now I came to know, yeah, I'm doing too much of nodding. I don't need to do that. And now today you have given me the trick, so thank you for that. I take that trick and I'll implement in your chat only.
yeah. Please to do that. It's good. You're
So
taking feedback very quickly.
that's
Implementation as
the
well.
guidance. Guidance has to be implemented. Otherwise, it will just remain a knowledge. you know
Perfect.
so
Mm.
yes, so tell us something on the sales part, that
Yeah,
tell us the journey of communication in sales, because there's a journey of communication in sales, from saying a hello to closing a deal. There's a huge journey there,
yeah,
and that could be shortened or broadened depending on the communication you do.
yeah. I think it's a very valid question. See, the thing is, it starts from the first and the foremost step, and I always say, and in my Instagram, you will see this picture I actually posted a few days back. So one of my guys in the team actually put it on his desk. On the phone, he had put in a post-it which says, "Pick me up, I make you money." Right. So the idea is that if you the first step starts with the idea of, you've heard a lot of motivational dialogues and lectures and all these things where everybody says one single thing: do it. So the same logic goes with sales. If you don't pick up the phone, you will never make money. So the first step starts from picking up the phone. A lot of people say that email communication, inbound sales, and all these things are there. Yes, these are the activities which are done by the marketing guys. They will do their job. They will try to generate lead, and lead will come to your website. But you have to pick up the phone to actually start the communication. The first step starts over there. The second is, of course, is called the elevator pitch. So elevator pitch is pretty much like, there should be two elevator pitches for impact. One is an elevator pitch of Kulpreet. Like when you gave my introduction, you actually brought in a lot of things. The same logic goes for you, right? So what is your elevator pitch, and can you put your story in 15 seconds? That's first. Second is elevator pitch of the company. So what are you going to say in the next 15 seconds that he will give you another 2 minutes to speak to you? So that elevator pitch becomes very important. If you fumble, if you uh, kind of are not confident, if you're not excited, then possibly this conversation will not happen. And this is where the struggle of cold calling starts. Imagine how many credit card calls you get and you immediately cut it down. I normally listen to them because I want to really understand that what are these people trying to talk, and it gives me encouragement that there is a lot of opportunity for people like us to maybe help these guys. So that's there. So elevator pitch is very important. That's the second step. So that's where you and when you're doing elevator pitch, when you finish the call, you normally should finish with an action or next steps. So the next steps would normally be, okay, I've got your email ID. I will drop you an email, and this email will conduct tuck 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 3 points, and then you finish your conversation that way, so that the person by default knows that what to expect from this person now, and never end the call without asking for something back. So the idea is, so let's say that you only offered that, I will, can I have your email ID? And you'll say, yes, this is my email ID. Please send me what you want to send. This is how the person will react. But you'll say, hey, so what I'm going to send you is, for you, I will do this, or for you, there will be value propositions. There will be one client example and something else. So once I send this across to you by 4 p.m., can I expect to get a revert from you by, let's say, X or by, let's say, Y? So now what has happened? It's like always a give and take from the first initial call itself. If you are not able to generate an interest that whatever I'm going to send is valuable for you, the give and take will not happen. So
Yeah, these are like wisdom, wisdom suggestions.
so that's the idea. And then once you have done the email, normally today there are too many tools which can actually tell you whether somebody read your email, did not read your email. All these things are available online. It's just a Chrome extension, so you kind of know whether they have read it or not. If they have read it and if they have not reverted, then you can always go back and see, did you really send him something valuable? Was it exciting enough for him to reply? Sometimes people do not. And let's say that happened. Always the second call, third call, and the fourth call goes on. But as I said, if you set the tone right from the beginning, and setting the tone right from the beginning is very simple. If you have a strong elevator pitch, so which basically means you are Kulpreet, you are CEO of Impact Public Relations, you have won 20 awards or 10 awards in your career, and you were once so and so. This is what I've said about you in 15 seconds. So now that means even if I'm Ratan Tata, I still would like to listen to you because you have accolades, you have credibility, and you're talking, and you're also working somebody equivalent to him. So that's like grabbing somebody else's wisdom in you. So normally I would always do this. I will always say that, I'm so and so, I'm maybe managing director of Meltwater. So by default, the title and designation itself gives you that additional 5 seconds. Then you say, I work with people like, let's say for you, I would say I would work with people like Sam Balsara, and then by default you would say, oh wow, Sam, why not? I would love to listen to you, what you're going to say. And then now Sam has come in, help me a little bit to get 10 more seconds from you, so I can now pitch my idea to you. Once I've given the idea, everything has happened. Now I've promised you an email. I've asked you that I'll give you a call 2 days later, and then I give you a call at 4 o'clock. Ask you, did you read my email? However, I know that you might not have read the whole thing. So I wrote these things. I have explained the email to him, and then that is the second step. So after that, if you are a service, if you are a product, you want to do a demo happens. And demo so in a sales stage standpoint, we call it we basically call it in during my Meltwater days, there were 4 sales stages where we used to call feeling lucky. Feeling lucky was like, I feel that this guy is interested. Then there is another one which we used to call closing candidate, which basically means that he has shown interest. Now he's ready to evaluate. That means he will close. And closing means yes or no, baby. Maybe. So it could be either yes or a no. That means there is an interest. He will evaluate. And then there's a strong closing candidate. We added that filter separately. And then there's a qualified closer. A qualified closer is somebody who has agreed that he is ready to buy. He has found the budget. Who the sign off is. And once all these things are done, then you're only waiting for the contract to be signed. But when you're talking about larger companies, then we have a little more filtrations altogether. There is demo, then there is more iterations altogether, and different sales organizations have different ones. So after the second, then the third is you've done the demo. Now you have to just follow up because he has found the value, but he's not finding the time to do this for you. So you've done the demo, you've finished your presentation. Your presentation is now he's not doing it for you. So how do you raise value on a day-to-day basis that every time you give him a call, he feels that this call is important, not vice versa? So how do you do that? So we used to call it massaging. So massaging basically is a simple step of it's a normal term in sales, but massaging is literally like kardo really kind of a idea, but on the shoulders. But the intent is that you are sending him either through an email or through a call, giving him something of value whenever you're talking. So if I was still there in Meltwater and it was about you, They would say, hey, you know what? You work with this ex-client, and I found this article published in Australia. And you're like, hey, what article, right? And then by default, I will say, oh yeah, you can know that article once you buy the service. So it's kind of immediately there's a catch the fish kind of situation, right? So,
Start
but
hooking everyone.
yeah, sometimes you send it also. It's not like always you will do this bait kind of model, but the idea is that you kind of send it across and say, hey, I found this article, it was really useful, and then the people start feeling a little more trust. They, because you have started the conversation, that person was unknown, you were unknown to that person, but now after 3 calls you are expecting that person to give you a deal worth 50 lakhs or 20 lakhs or 30 lakhs, whatever the amount is. So he needs to build some more trust in you. So the first step is again from the elevator pitch. Because you're working with Sam Balsara, because you've worked in this industry for 20 years, he's bound to trust you. But now he has met you, and or now he has spoken to you multiple times. He's building his own trust. So how do you keep building the trust? You start doing a little more massaging, and then during the massage, as I said, the process is same. You start with the purpose, why you call, what did you do for him, what do you expect out of this call, and you finish the call with the next step, and that continues till the journey. So massaging is over, now the contract is gone. This is the time when I not this time, but normally this is a time when evaluation of these things become more serious, is the elimination of fear. So first of all, you should always be feared. You should always be afraid that the deal will never happen. So if you have that fear,
We are basically, we have the opposite. We are like optimistic the deal will happen.
no. So the thing is that when you're too optimistic, you tend to miss out on reasons why it will not happen. But if you are no, I'm not saying you should be a pessimist. You should always be positive, but there should be somebody in your team, or somebody who is evaluating should always be asking this question again and again: why do you think this deal will not happen? Even when the contract is like on the table and it's going to be signed, I always tend to ask, okay, so it's the contract is on his table, I understand. Has he told you when he'll sign? Let's say he said no, I don't know that. Why do you don't know it? Like, this is there. So if it's on the table, is he in the office? So let's say that maybe he is not in office and it's on his table, then why is it over there? Why is it not with him? So the intent is, because you need to shorten the process of sales. And how do you shorten the process of sales? When the thing which basically has to be signed is with the sign off as soon as possible, with a reason why he's signing it. So the way I always try to do this is eliminate, first of all, have the fear that the deal will never happen, and then eliminate that fear. So to start with this, whom are you speaking? So let's say that you tried really hard to speak to the CEO, but you could not get, so you finally ended up speaking to marketing manager. Marketing manager could be a gatekeeper. If you are talking to an SMB, you know that the CEO will be the person who will be signing the contract. So how soon will you reach the CEO? How accessible is the CEO to this marketing manager? Like, these questions automatically start coming in. So when I talk about this after the demo has happened, during the demo itself, have we done the demo to the CEO or have we done the demo to the marketing manager? If, let's say, marketing manager was the guy assigned for the demo, well and good, perfect. You need to ensure that marketing manager, you have to ask the question that, hey, in my experience, I have never seen a marketing manager taking a call of worth 40 lakhs. So forgive me, it's my problem. It's not yours. It's my problem that in my 20 years of experience, worth 40 lakhs has not been a marketing manager. So am I wrong somewhere? And he will say, no, that's perfect. That means you will sign the contract. And he will say, no. Then you know that it has to be signed by the CEO. So if a CEO has to sign, you have not shown the demo to him, how will he sign? So you get the idea. So the moment you get to know that, then you kind of constantly ask the marketing manager to get time with the CEO, because you know that if that step does not happen, the deal will never happen. So and then being optimistic.
Do you mean to say that reach to
Sorry,
the you should go? Do you mean to say that reach to the decision maker and know the decision maker?
always, 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 always. In the later stages of my career, in even now, if the DM or the sign off is not involved, I don't even consider that as a prospect which will close, because considering the size of the deals which we now have, it is very, very difficult for somebody signing $1 million contract without the CEO not being involved. So there will be something fishy if that happens. So it's my assumption, and if the marketing manager says no, I have signed a 40 lakh contract myself and I do it every day, then it's perfect. Then you just simply say, yeah, that's great. Can you sign this now? What is left out? And then he will tell you 5 other things, that these are the things which are left out. And then you will. So that's how you eliminate the fear, right? You can also be very vocal about your fear, because this is all about communication, right? So if you are building a trust, if you are building this concept of trust with this person, you need to ask him the question that, hey, I have this fear in myself that the deal will not happen because of these reasons. Am I right or wrong? And he himself will say, don't worry. These things I will take care of. You don't have to worry about these things. He will say that himself. Because if somebody has to buy, if they, so you just ask
Yes.
that question. So, of course, so for me, the fear of not having a deal is a very interesting fear to have, so that you can eliminate the fear at every stage. So, of course, and then the communication kind of changes a little bit when you're talking to procurement. I think we both had that experience last year. Procurement has their own style. They have this. You have to respect their jobs. They do a very tough job of finding right kind of vendors, and their job is to save money for the organization. So you need to respect that and deal with it from that perspective. So effective communication, I think I've given you some ideas. Always have a fear that the deal will not happen, and eliminate that fear. Have a perfect elevator pitch. It's very, very critical for yourself and for the company. And then always go in with some value addition on every communication which you're doing, and then backed by some kind of actionable item. Either it is the next step, or for example, a next call timeline. So these will be my 3 pointers from that perspective.
Yes, that is
Just,
that.
it's getting darker here. Just one second.
Yes, yes, yes. So that I'm talking to Nitin Bhatia on effective communication in sales. Yeah, now it is much better. You're like shining. Great. So, Nitin, tell us something more on this aspect of communication and relations. What I feel, when I met you a few years back, you came, you connected with me for a sale, but you never intended to sound like sales. You always intended to uh, add value
Yeah.
rather than put a sale across. So tell me the differentiation of that communication to in the sales language, sales communication.
I think there is no selu communication anymore. It does not exist anymore. I think the world has kind of realized, all the sales organizations have realized that there's some way or the other, um, you need to come out as somebody whom you can trust. So, you will see a lot of people today write this on their LinkedIn profile, that they are a trusted advisor. And these people will be the biggest salespeople of the company. So the reason why they write trusted advisor is because they want to come out as a person that whom you can trust. So they will guide you with the right kind of right kind of impact, the right kind of decision, help you in taking the right kind of decision. So in this process, whenever I spoke to you in the past, and I remember, um, uh, of course, you do not know, in 9 out of 10 times, you do not know what the other person is going through. And what you try to do is that your ulterior motive is to hit your quota. So to be honest with you, most of the time when I spoke to you, I never had this burden of having quota on my head. Like not having quota, like to achieving quota. Like it was never like, oh, I'm really, if this deal does not happen, I lose my job. And fortunately, in my experience, it was we kind of came to a formula where that situation should not arise with anybody. And it took some time. It took a lot of years. It took a lot of hard work, but we kind of came to a solution that if you do this, you will always hit your quota. So
Yes.
when I
And
spoke to you,
saying that, at times you had also given us some what you call uh,
try
I'm not getting the word that irresistible offers.
this,
Irresistible.
yeah, offer which you can't deny. No, so see, the thing is that's a strategy. That's nothing to do with that's a business strategy. That's a lot of companies want to uh, give more upfront high value discount to bring you on board, because once you come on board, then you if you do good, if you are confident about your service, you will stick around, you will not go. So that's the reason giving you a higher discount at any given point of time. The intent was always to ensure that you at least come on board, have that experience, and that will be there. But to answer your question on uh, on the aspect of relation, so it's like trusted advisor. So the idea is that when you have built a trust with the person, and how do you build a trust? If I start coming to you constantly asking you that, hey, give me your money, give me your money, give me your money, because that's what I'm in for, you will tend to go two steps away from me, even if you like my service, even if you like me as a person. But you will see that I always call you because I want some money out of you. So and if you ask my kind of sales, my style of sales, it is far more engaging, and it's far more tiring also, because I think I have done a lot of things for people which basically were nothing related to sales. You coming to
Yes.
6 a.m. army in itself was an example. Like, why on earth will you come on 6 a.m. army, and what is my benefit out of it? It's a pure idea. And not only this, like other things also. I'm just giving you an example which is easier, but there are a lot of things which people do for people. And
Are you saying that it is very important for a
Mhm.
person who is in sales to kind of be authentic communicator of his overall life rather than only is that
Yeah,
job of sales?
yeah,
Does
yeah,
that? Yes, I think that works a lot.
yeah, I agree with you. And to be honest with you, my personal sales journey, when I started in Meltwater, I used to every call I used to do, I used to say I was a journalist. Every call. And the reason was very simple, is because I was selling a PR monitoring software. And I knew that if I am selling a PR monitoring software, and if a journalist is selling a PR monitoring software, there is value to it. There is a reason why a journalist has joined this organization, because there is some kind of merit to this service. And and it by default trust, because I have been into that space where I know how PR people call journalists, right, left, right, and center to get a story covered. And I know how marketing guys are after PR guys to get the story covered. And I am the guy who was writing those stories. So I know exactly how important these articles are, and why it is important for you to track them. The same logic goes, when I came into a larger portfolio of digital marketing in CX. It's the same thing. If I am getting these SMSs on a regular basis, the emails on this regular basis, if I'm getting annoyed because the same kind of message is coming every now and then I was the receiver of these kind of messages earlier. So now, if I am going to talk to somebody, I'm going to tell you that you are annoying when you send me these messages, and it is not worth. And I'm talking about a time 5 years, 2 years ago. So I'm here to solve that problem. I know that you have never realized that there was a problem, but now you're able to. So the trust factor plays a very big role, and a trust cannot be built just by a transaction. It cannot be done that. It has to have more elements. It has to have laughters. It has to have empathy. It has to have the humbleness of wishing people on their birthdays, the humbleness of wishing people on their religious occasions, and being sad with them when they have had a trouble in their lives. And these things are something which are very critical. And I'll be honest with you, and there have been, of course, I've been in sales. There have been situations where there was a matter of immense pressure for us to hit quota. And this was one guy I used to play cricket with in Delhi, and he chose to go to Kolkata. And I hate telling people about this story, but this is so close to my heart now. And what really happened was this: that we were in valuation of a solution, and the solution was verbally accepted, and they were ready to sign. And in this interim, his father expired, and it was shocking for us that this has happened, and it was happening and we used to have monthly quotas, to be honest. And I was like, and he was my friend, so there are a lot of factors. It's not, and then so I felt extremely sad about it. And then, of course, I did not pursue that, but I only said, hey, sorry, if you need any help, let me know. All he did was he replied that, hey, this was prolonged in terms of what was going on with him. So, but don't worry, in a few couple of days or few days, we will sign this on his own. Now, eventually, we were very well short of the target. Considering he had mentioned that, I took the onus to actually reach out to him and ask, hey, you mentioned this. And he did not like it at all. And he did not like it at all. Like it was very, very bad, to be honest. And I felt so gutted. I felt so bad that, what. And then I, of course, he did not speak to me. I did not, I tried, but all these things happened. But eventually, after 2-3 months, I wrote him a long email, very personal email about, whatever happened, work and all that stuff is completely irrelevant, what you were going through. And, 3-4 months later, he became, he himself called up and signed up a deal, and then now a regular client of Milport, of course, and we continue our friendship as well. But I'm giving you a situation that empathy and these things are very important when you're in sales. People are talking about pressure and sales targets and all these things, but it is ultimately we all are human beings, and people like people, and people buy people. They don't buy the product.
Yes, I'm reminded of something here. When my father had passed away in 2008, there was a very big brand which came to Delhi, and they wanted to hire our services. And that time we were like too much in hospitality and entertainment. And when they reached out to us, and they called me directly, because you know how references work. Referral sale is like powerful sale. So they had got my personal reference with a from a client of mine who was also a CEO and a founder. And this guy called me up and he said, and this was on the day my father passed away.
Oh shit.
And I told him, because I was taking phones, but I didn't know it was his. I took his phone and I told him that, there's a tragedy happened in my personal life. I will get back to you after 10 days. You will have to wait for me. If
Yeah.
you want to, if you don't have time, please go and hire somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, no, we'll wait for you.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yes, they said that we'll wait for you. And after 10 days, I obviously forgot about it because
Yeah.
there's so much going on in my head. And after
Mm.
10 days, they again called me up and they said, Kulpreet, you said after 10 days. I said, oh, acha. So I had not, I had still not recovered. I said, you have to give me another 2-3 days because I am still in shock
Mm-hmm.
or I'm still recovering. So they
Yeah.
said, okay, 2-3 days are fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I again forgot.
Mm.
And then they called me on the third day and they said, you said that you'll come in 2 days and you haven't spoken to us. So then they were a little stern and they said, okay, if you can come tomorrow, we are fine. Then otherwise we'll look out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, yes, I'll come tomorrow. So then I
Mm-hmm.
went. But
Mm.
yes, empathy does play a role. And I still remember them. It was one of the best launches we ever did in Delhi. It was all sports bar, one of the first sports
Mhm.
bar in Delhi, which we opened. And I still remember this incident, so close to my heart. And
Yeah.
yes, it does work. It is, beyond your duty and, beyond your work area, you actually listen to your people. It definitely stays with you.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
agree.
Yes, absolutely. And yes, like you said, communication, you need to be consistent as well in your communication. Ask something, ask something and give something, and then ask something in return also. That's
Yeah.
a very powerful. I still remember when you had called me for the first time, you said, I'm sending you an email, and would you be able to reply to me like till tomorrow? I still remember that.
No, for
And
us,
yes,
like,
and I was like a little taken aback, and I said, "Oh, he's demanding," but yeah, I like it. So I like that. I like that because I
Mm,
think leaders like leaders, and
mm.
if we can convey that through our communication, I think it really lives with that person.
So I would like to add one point over here, Kulpreet, because this is important for anybody who is listening, or maybe whenever they listen to this video. See, leaders like leaders is a statement which is easier for us to say, but it is we never started as a leader, right? But we always sold to leaders. So that so you have what I'm trying to bring towards or come to the point is the most important thing is to value yourself first. And when I say value yourself, it's a very, very challenging statement. It's not linked with ego. What it is linked with is to value what you feel is an achievement for yourself. It is.
I'm happy that you brought that up, Nitin, and
Mhm.
thanks for that clarification. Because for me, leader is something
Yeah.
meaning
No,
something else. For
the
me, leadership is an action and not the position.
Yeah, no, but this is something which is the challenge is. In fact, I was taking a session with these guys a few days back um, with the Leo group, and this is the Lions Club. So this is the youth wing of Lions Club called Leos. And these people are trying to call people or to get some kind of support to their organization. It's like a philanthropic organization taking support. They are given these massive titles, like a lot of people are basically chief executive officer of some wing, or somebody is like the global liaison officer or something. So they're getting these massive titles, so it's a very empowering thing. So when I spoke to them, I told them that, see, this is a very empowering thing, but you need to back it down. That why were you chosen to get this position? It did not happen by chance. You basically, so for example, a lot of the times people tend to, let's say they want to become a manager, and but they have always done this account executive kind of roles all their lives. So now whenever they sit in an interview, people will say, hey, you've always done this IC kind of role, you how will you manage people? They forget that they were sports captain in school. They forget that they were class prefect in school, or they forget that they were the uh, somebody of drama club, or they forget that they basically volunteered a trip of 10 people to Leh. That's what management is all about. It's basically bringing 10 people together and ensuring that they reach from X to Y with a desired outcome. And I think when I started in the journey of Meltwater, one thing I told the guys that, listen, I take a lot of pride that I am one of the founding members of this organization. I take a lot of pride in that. And just because I wanted to always project that I am somebody senior, I never called myself as a sales consultant. I always said that, I am a business head of this organization. To be honest, in my head, I was a business head. The reason was because I was hired by two guys, those who were from the UK. They had no idea how India works. They had no idea. They had only the passion to grow this organization. So they really wanted somebody whom they can trust. And luckily, I was hired, and maybe a couple of other guys were hired with me. And we were the three people who were like, we will not let this people tugged by anybody else. And so that was in our mind, because it was in a mind so much convinced by this whole idea that I am the business head of this organization. by default in our language that authority used to come out. The same logic goes is this, that if you value what you are, and that goes for everybody who works in your organization also, that you need to first of all value that if you are given an account director role, then why were you given an account director role? Why is it a director title added to you? And
Yeah.
back it up with that fact that I'm an account director because I was working with 5 to 7 accounts and I grew that account from X to Y or so and so. Or maybe I don't know. Like the idea that the story has to be stitched by you, but the first idea that you have to value yourself. So, so then only this uh, people like, I think the better way to say is that leaders like confident people. They do not like dull people. So your confidence comes with the work which you have done.
Yes, and
And
I think, Nitin, you have given a golden insight towards the end. So, end is always exciteful and insightful. So, the end of it almost, it's another 4 5 minutes left.
yeah,
And I think I'm very happy that we dwelled in this talk and this came up because,
yeah,
leadership is a concept, it is not a position at all.
yeah,
And it is, like you very rightly said, it is leaders like people who are confident. Right now if you must have noticed, I did a chat with the interns at Impact, just I
okay,
think 3 4 days back, as a part of this series. I
yeah,
chatted with the interns. I see a lot of leadership qualities in them, and I see leaders in them. So
yeah,
that's what it is.
yeah. It is all about that. I think somebody explained to me in a very nice manner about leadership. He said a leader is all about getting work done, but making ordinary people excellent.
Absolutely. Okay, now that we are towards the end, I am
Yeah.
going to share more information on Nitin, which because he might have thought that I have skipped it or I don't remember it.
No, no,
He's
no,
a
no,
poet.
no.
He's a poet. He
Oh,
writes.
yeah.
He's a he's a poet and he writes and he just lends his voice to make it more meaningful. And
Yeah.
I think recently you were also taken on, sharing your poem for some kind of an initiative. You tell something about that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I wrote something on my journey, and then one of my schoolmates actually from Ranchi, he had been helping or trying to help the migrant laborers across India, and he said, "Hey Nitin, can you rewrite it and put it across because I think this is very meaningful." So then I think he messaged me at 11:30. At by 2:30 a.m. I had already written it down, and then I told him that before the sun rises, you will have the entire thing ready. So I made the entire thing, the video with the voice and music and everything, and I sent it to him in the morning. He was happy, and they were able to raise some money out of it. So really pleased that I could help some way or the other.
That's nice. And can you make us happy by sharing that with us?
It's it's very tough to. I'm not really good at doing this. Let me see if I'm able to find it. Don't put me on
See, that's
spot
why
like this.
knowing people and actually knowing people and not knowing people is two different things. So, and you and I think we know each other almost I think 6 7 years. It's been, I think, Milk
Yeah.
Waters. I
Yes.
think 6 7 years.
Yes. Hmm. 6 years and you won't believe it, but we almost interact every 3 days without even interacting with each other.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You want me to read it, or you want me to
all
read
all
it?
years, all years.
You're kidding me. Okay. I might not be as because I did some voice modulation that time, but I'm just trying to see this. और तो कुछ नहीं, गांव छोटा था मेरा, घर भी था मिट्टी का, रोटी अचार की खुराक थी, बचपन सादा ही था, बस और तो कुछ नहीं। खेती को सूखे ने तोड़ा, माँ का दामन था छोड़ा, दोस्तों को बोला अलविदा, बस यूं ही शहर को चल दिया, और तो कुछ नहीं। कभी रिक्शा वाला तो कभी बना कबाड़ी, हर काम किया जिसमें मिली दिहाड़ी। एक 6 बाई 6 का कमरा था और 2 4 लोगों का बसेरा था, बस और कुछ नहीं। आज महामारी ने ऐसा मारा है, भूख बहुत है पर मुश्किल एक निवाला है। तड़प बस है वापस जाने की, फिर से रोटी अचार खाने की, बस और कुछ नहीं। अटक गया हूँ इस शहर के शोर में, कई रात सोया नहीं घर जाने की होड़ में। अब तो पाँव के छाले मेरे हौसले से भी बड़े हैं, न जाने कब से मेरे माँ बाप मेरी राह ताके खड़े हैं, बस और तो कुछ नहीं, बस और तो कुछ
एब्सोल्युटली। और तो कुछ नहीं, हमें सब कुछ मिल गया वैसे आपसे बात करके।
नहीं। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
It was lovely hosting you, Nitin, and it's more amazing knowing you as a person. And
Yeah,
I thank God that we universe connected us, and we stayed connected as people, and that's what Nitin is saying, that connect with people, and then everything will follow. So thank
yeah.
you, Nitin, for being a part of Impact Turns 20, building the future together. And any last message?
Nothing much. I think from my side, it's all about when you're talking about, because this was all about sales, but I think communication starts with talking, with interacting, and one last advice I think which I missed out on, it sales is actually 80% listening and 20% talking. So if you are an active listener, you will become a great salesperson. So that will be my last advice for everybody.
So great. That is like the golden insight at the end again. So you keep on giving these aces, now and then. So thank you, Nitin. Thank you so much for joining us on this Impact Turns 20, building the future together. Stay on the in the broadcast room. I'll come back to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks a lot. Bye.
Yes. Thank you so much. So that was Nitin Bhatia, Sales Director, CX India Oracle, with me on Impact Turns 20, building the future together. We'll be back again soon. Till then, keep enjoying.